The Jeep shouldn't have been there. November 1944, Eastern France, mud season. The kind of cold that creeps through wool, bone, and pride. A narrow road near the German border winds through shell-scarred fields toward the front. Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force is on the move. An inspection convoy, tight formation, military police clearing the way. At the front of it all sits Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces in Europe, reviewing reports that decide the fate of nations. Then the convoy slows, not because of enemy fire, not because of a collapsed bridge, because an old, battered Jeep is blocking the road. It looks like it's been dredged out of a swamp. No markings, no flags, no insignia, just mud, layers of it, baked onto the hood, splattered across the windshield, dripping from the axles. The kind of vehicle no one bothers to clean because they don't expect to survive long enough for it to matter. An MP jumps down, already irritated. "Sir, you can't park here. This is a priority convoy." The man in the passenger seat doesn't move. He's older, late 50s maybe. His field jacket is so filthy it might once have been green. His helmet is dented, scratched, the liner barely holding together. No rank on his shoulders, no decorations, nothing to say who he is or why he's there. "I'm waiting for my tank commander," the man says flatly. "He's supposed to meet me here." The MP stiffens. "General Eisenhower is coming through." The muddy man doesn't even look impressed. "I don't care who's coming through." Behind them, Eisenhower's driver eases the staff car to a stop. "Sir," the driver asks quietly, "should I have them moved?" Eisenhower leans forward, studying the scene. Something about the man feels familiar. Not the uniform, not the Jeep, the posture, the way he sits, relaxed but alert. The way he talks to the MP, not arrogant, not submissive, certain. "Who is that?" Eisenhower asks. "No idea, sir," the aide replies. "Some officer who won't move." The MP is losing patience now. "Sir, I'm ordering you to clear the road." The muddy man turns, and for the first time, he sees the staff car. Their eyes meet. The man breaks into a wide, unmistakable grin. "Ike," he says cheerfully, "what the hell are you doing out here?" For half a second, Eisenhower just stares. That voice, that grin, that total, absolute lack of military courtesy. "George?" Eisenhower asks, disbelief creeping into his tone. "Of course it's me," the man says. "Who else would it be?" The aide's face drains of color. "Sir, that's General Patton." The MP freezes. His mouth opens, closes. "Oh God, I've been yelling at General Patton." Patton waves a muddy hand dismissively. "Relax, you were doing your job. Good for you." Then he looks back at Eisenhower, eyes bright. "You got time?" he asks. "I can show you the real front, not the sanitized version headquarters likes to parade around." And just like that, the illusion shatters. Because the man blocking Eisenhower's convoy, this anonymous mud-soaked obstacle, is not a captain, not a major, not some lost supply officer. He is George S. Patton, commander of the U.S. Third Army, 3-star general, one of the most dangerous men on the battlefield. And he looks like a homeless supply sergeant who hasn't slept indoors in weeks. This wasn't an accident. It was deliberate, and it happened over and over again. Throughout World War II, senior Allied commanders would encounter Patton at the front lines and not recognize him. They'd mistake him for a driver, a reconnaissance officer, sometimes even enlisted personnel. Men would argue with him, lecture him, order him around, and Patton let them. Because when George Patton went to war, he wore 2 uniforms. The world remembers only one of them, the famous version. The polished helmet with gleaming stars, the pearl-handled revolvers, the mirror-bright boots, the riding crop, the image that filled newsreels and newspapers. That was the uniform Patton wore when he wanted soldiers to see him. But there was another uniform, One almost no one recognized. A plain field jacket stripped of insignia, a dented helmet, or none at all. Mud-covered boots, no medals, no rank, no identity. "When I want soldiers to see me," Patton once told his staff, "I dress like a general. When I want to see the war, I dress like a nobody." The logic was brutal and simple. A general in full regalia is a sniper's dream. German marksmen were trained to hunt officers. A star on a helmet might as well be a bullseye. But Patton's reasoning went deeper than survival. If soldiers know a general is watching, they perform. They clean things up. They say what they think he wants to hear. They hide problems. They exaggerate success. Patton hated that. "If they think I'm some anonymous officer," he explained, "they tell me the truth." And truth, to Patton, was more valuable than safety. So he cultivated the disguise. He let himself look tired, dirty, ordinary. He argued with MPs, sat in foxholes, walked the line alone. He listened. And because no one knew who he was, they complained to him. About cold feet, about broken rifles, about missing ammunition, about fear. Patton wrote it all down. Then he went back to headquarters and fixed it. That is why Third Army moved faster than anyone else. Why supply problems vanished overnight. Why men followed him into hell without hesitation. They didn't just fear him, they trusted him. Because while other generals commanded from polished maps, George Patton learned the war by stepping directly into it, unrecognized, unprotected, and unimportant. At least that's what everyone thought. Until someone inevitably whispered the words that echoed across Europe again and again, "Sir, that's Patton." And every time the reaction was the same: shock, disbelief, and a sudden understanding that the most dangerous man in the Allied army had just been standing right beside them, looking like nobody at all. And this was only the beginning. October 1944, near Metz, France. The rain has turned the ground into soup, the kind that sucks at your boots and makes every step feel like punishment. Across the river, German positions sit quiet but deadly. Machine guns carefully camouflaged, artillery pre-registered, snipers watching for movement. General Omar Bradley arrives at a forward observation post with a small escort. He expects to find a handful of intelligence officers and junior commanders peering through binoculars, gathering last-minute confirmation before the next push. That's exactly what he finds. Several officers cluster around a crude map table. Binoculars rest on sandbags. Coffee steams weakly in dented cups. And off to the side, kneeling in the mud, is a man sketching. The man's uniform is filthy, no insignia, no medals. His helmet lies beside him, scratched and dented. He's drawing quickly, confidently, lines, angles, notations, completely absorbed in his work. Bradley watches for a moment. "Good work," he says, assuming the man is an intelligence lieutenant. "Your reconnaissance is excellent." "Thanks, Brad," the man replies without looking up. Bradley freezes. That voice. He steps closer, studying the man's face beneath the grime. The sharp nose, the hard mouth, the unmistakable profile. "George," Bradley says slowly, "what the hell are you doing here?" The man finally looks up. "Reconnaissance," George S. Patton says. "Same as your boys, except I'm better at it." Bradley stares at the sketches. They're not casual drawings. They're precise. German machine gun nests, likely artillery positions, terrain choke points, probable command posts. "You drew all this?" Bradley asks. "Who else would?" Patton replies. Bradley's irritation rises fast. "You're the commander of Third Army," he snaps. "You shouldn't be at a forward observation post under German artillery range." Patton doesn't flinch. "How else am I supposed to know what the Germans are doing?" he asks calmly. "Intelligence reports are always 12 hours old. I need to know what's happening now." "You have staff officers for that." Patton snorts. Staff officers tell me what they think I want to hear. Bradley exhales sharply. George, if you get killed up here, then I die doing my job. Patton cuts in. Better than dying behind a desk. Bradley looks again at the sketches. This isn't recklessness, it's preparation. You want to know why Third Army moves faster than anyone else? Patton says quietly. Because I know the ground. I know where the Germans are. I don't rely on second-hand information. Bradley can't argue with results. Third Army's advance has been relentless, faster than anyone predicted, more aggressive than anyone believed sustainable. But the frustration remains. You could at least tell me you're here, Bradley says. Patton smiles thinly. If I did, you'd order me to leave before I finished my work. Bradley shakes his head. You're impossible. Patton grins. You're welcome. After Bradley departs, Patton's aide finally speaks. Sir, you deliberately let him think you were just another officer. Of course, Patton replies. That way, he saw the work, not the show. This wasn't an isolated incident. It happened with colonels, with division commanders, with corps staff. Men would speak freely around Patton because they didn't know who he was, and Patton listened. December 1944, near Saarbrücken. Patton is riding in a jeep with his driver, scouting a stretch of road close to German lines. Both men wear plain uniforms. No insignia, no markings, just two Americans in a dirty vehicle that looks like it belongs anywhere but a general. The first shot cracks overhead. The driver hits the ground instantly. Sir, get down. Patton doesn't move. Another shot snaps past, close enough to feel the air shift. He's not aiming at me, Patton says calmly, scanning the tree line. He's aiming at the jeep. Sir, that doesn't... A third shot, closer. Patton nods. All right, that one was meant for me. He drops behind the jeep. The sniper fires twice more, then stops. Silence stretches. Why isn't he firing? The driver whispers. Patton peers around the tire. Because he can't figure out who we are, he says. We don't look like officers. We don't look like supply troops. We're just two dirty Americans doing nothing interesting. They wait. 5 minutes. No shots. Let's go, Patton says. Slowly. Don't make it look like a retreat. They climb back into the jeep and drive away at a casual pace, as if being shot at were a minor inconvenience. Later, safely behind the lines, the driver finally asks the question that's been building for months. Sir, you don't wear rank at the front. Is it because of snipers? Partly, Patton admits. German snipers hunt officers. Stars on your helmet make you a target. Then he pauses. But mostly, I do it so I can move without everyone treating me like visiting royalty. You want to be anonymous? The driver asks. Patton shakes his head. No, I want to be useful. He leans back, lighting a cigarette. Can't learn anything if everyone's performing for the general. But if they think I'm just another officer, they act natural. I see the real situation. That philosophy spread through Third Army faster than any order. Patton didn't need speeches. He showed up, unannounced, unrecognized, unprotected. And when soldiers spoke, really spoke, he remembered. Private First Class David Richards wrote home in January 1945. We were freezing in our foxhole, complaining about everything, when this older guy walked up. Muddy, tired, no rank on his uniform. We figured he was a captain or a major. He sat with us and just listened. Richards and his friends told the stranger the truth. They were cold, scared, low on ammunition, short on winter gear. The man wrote it all down. When he stood to leave, one soldier finally asked his name. The man grinned. Patton. The next day, everything arrived. Ammunition, cold weather gear, better rations. Patton remembered. Stories like that spread quietly, not through newspapers, not through speeches, through results. And slowly, a reputation formed, not of a distant tyrant, but of a general who knew. who had seen what the men saw, felt what they felt, stood where they stood. That's why they followed him. Not because he wore stars, but because he didn't. And as Patton continued walking the front lines dressed like nobody important, German intelligence made a fatal mistake. They kept hunting a myth, a general in polished boots, a shining helmet, a man surrounded by staff cars and salutes. They never realized the man they were trying to kill had already walked past them, muddy, anonymous, and smiling. And that mistake would almost cost them everything. By early 1945, the war was collapsing inward on itself. Germany was breaking. Roads filled with refugees, retreating units, abandoned equipment. Entire formations dissolved into confusion, fear, and rumor. The front lines no longer looked like lines at all, just patches of chaos stitched together by exhausted men. This was when Patton became most dangerous, not because he was loud, not because he was famous, but because he was invisible. March 1945. Deep inside recently captured German territory, a muddy American Jeep rolls along a shattered road. No flags, no markings. Just two men inside, Patton and his driver, both in plain uniforms, both looking like officers who've been in the field too long to care about appearances. They crest a small rise and stop. Ahead of them, German soldiers emerge from the trees. Not a patrol, not a defensive position, a lost unit. Weapons raised, nervous, unsure. The driver's heart slams into his chest. "Sir," he whispers. Patton doesn't reach for a weapon. He doesn't crouch. He simply stands up in the open, hands visible, posture relaxed. One of the Germans steps forward. "Americans?" he asks in broken English. "Yes," Patton replies. "Officers?" "Yes." The German hesitates. This isn't how surrender is supposed to work. There should be shouting, orders, threats, something official. "What rank?" the German asks. For a moment, Patton considers lying. Major, colonel, something safe, something forgettable. Instead, he answers honestly. "General, 3rd Army." The word lands like a hammer. The German's eyes widen. Everyone knows that name. Patton. For several seconds, nobody moves. The Germans could still fire. They're close enough that there would be no escape. Then the German lowers his rifle. "We surrender," he says quietly. To Patton is honor. Weapons hit the ground. Patton nods once, as if this were the most natural outcome in the world. As they walk the prisoners back, the driver finally exhales. "Sir," he says, voice tight, "you could have been killed." Patton shrugs. "If I lied and they found out later, they might have felt deceived and shot us anyway. Telling the truth gave them dignity." The driver shakes his head. "That's a hell of a gamble." Patton smiles faintly. "War is gambling. I just bet on honesty." Not everyone understood him. After the war, historians would ask Patton's staff the same question again and again. Why did he do it? Why deliberately make himself anonymous? Why take risks no general needed to take? The answers were revealing. His chief of staff said he wanted reality, not performance. An intelligence officer said he trusted his own eyes more than reports. His driver said he cared about the men. He wanted to know what they were going through. And Patton himself wrote the simplest explanation of all. A general who doesn't know what his soldiers are experiencing is a general who will make mistakes that cost lives. He didn't go to the front because he was fearless. He went because he believed responsibility demanded it. There was one final layer to Patton's invisibility: the photographs. War photographers embedded with 3rd Army received strict instructions. "If you see the general at the front," Patton's staff told them, "don't take pictures." One photographer protested. "Why not?" "Because if the Germans see what Patton looks like at the front," the answer came, "he'll be dead within a week." The enemy believed Patton was always the man from the posters. Polished helmet, shining stars, perfect uniform. They hunted that image. The real Patton, the muddy one, the tired one, the anonymous one, walked freely because no one was looking for him. One photograph did capture him in his true form, dirty, unshaven, exhausted, looking like any other officer who'd been living under fire too long. The image was classified until after the war, too dangerous to release, because Patton's survival depended on remaining unseen. Even Dwight D. Eisenhower understood this, despite their clashes. He once remarked privately that Patton was impossible to control, but impossible to replace. Patton was chaos, yes, but it was directed chaos. He didn't command from a throne. He commanded from a muddy jeep, from foxholes, from observation posts, from roads where no general had any business standing. Again and again, officers would encounter him and feel the same shock. That can't be Patton. And then someone would whisper it. Sir, that's Patton. The most powerful general in the Allied army, mistaken for nobody. And that was exactly how he wanted it. Patton wrote late in the war, "I would rather die in a foxhole with my men than live safely behind them." It wasn't bravado, he meant it. For 4 years he lived it. He slept where they slept, walked where they walked, risked what they risked. And because of that, they trusted him. They followed him. They endured. The legend of George S. Patton isn't just about speed, aggression, or victory. It's about a general who understood something most leaders never do. You cannot command what you refuse to understand. So he stripped away the stars, the medals, the image, and became, by choice, just another muddy American at the front. The man nobody recognized, the general everybody followed, and every time someone said, "That can't be Patton," they were wrong. It was him, every time.